Hi, my name is Dallas, and this is my husband, Jesse. What is this?
Try it again. Just keep going.
Doodaloo. Okay. Hi, my name is Dallas, and this is my husband, Jesse. We met in winter of 2020. We became friends and hung out quite a bit. By August of 2021, we both kind of realized that we wanted to be more than friends. We liked each other. So we started dating, and we just got married in April of 2022.
It was a pretty quick dating season, but a longer engagement. It was like 6 months, 7 months engagement?
I mean, that's not really super long, but
We only dated for a couple months.
we knew. When you know, you know. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
You do the first question.
When do you know if you're ready to start dating? For example, if you're not in a healthy place emotionally, it would be unwise to date. But what are some good potential markers that you're ready to start dating? From a spiritual standpoint, you've got to be right with your relationship with God. You've got to be focused on the Lord and pursuing Him.
I would agree with that. I would also add, for me personally, the way I knew I was ready to date was when I became content with my singleness. That sounds really strange, but it was when I realized that I didn't need to be in a relationship to be fulfilled, to be a whole person, that Jesse came along and I realized, okay, I'm actually mature enough and I feel like I'm ready to date someone, because I knew that my worth didn't come from him, it only came from God. I knew that I was valued and worthy before I was even in a relationship with Jesse.
I definitely think another big thing is when you start dating, I wouldn't look at it as taken from, as you know, all the choices I have. It's more so like, who is God leading me to? Knowing that you're dating to marry, that's key, I think, because if you're not going into it with that mindset, you're asking for trouble, and you could become emotionally invested in somebody that might not be the one. So you gotta think about that too. So really seeking what God's will is first before starting to date. What would you both say are some of the most important character traits to look for in someone who will be a partner and spouse?
Specifically from a chronic illness perspective, I had this list of traits of what I wanted in my future husband. And my mom basically was telling me, like, you know, that's changed. There's things that you thought you liked in a man, but it's going to change because your needs are different now. Not that you're looking for someone to fulfill you, but knowing that someone's going to be compatible with you and be by your side no matter what the situation is. I would say one of the first things that I noticed about Jesse was how constant he was, how loyal he was, and then also just his carefree spirit. I can be very, very serious, and sometimes I take things too seriously. It can make me laugh when I don't want to laugh. So, which is good when you're dealing with some very hard things, to have a little bit of lightheartedness so things don't get too heavy. The number one quality was that he loved the Lord above all else. So then I knew he was going to love me well.
I guess it's kind of different for everybody, right? What kind of traits, but the biggest core traits are somebody that loves the Lord. If you have the Lord as your center, then I think that's really the most important trait, in my opinion.
Oh, this is for you. Jesse, how do you navigate your feelings of disappointment or frustration when Dallas can't do something, such as a fun activity as a couple, going to an event, etc., that you wish she could? That's a good question.
That I wish she could. It doesn't upset me, really. I mean, I understand. I kind of put myself in her shoes and I kind of like almost embrace her weakness too. But yeah, I mean, of course there's times where I want to do something, but she can't physically. I don't look at disappointment. I kind of look at it like everything happens for a reason. And I just kind of embrace, I guess, maybe the rest too, because sometimes I'll do too much. And so
I feel like you're much more of a doer than I am.
Yeah, so it's kind of, sometimes it's good for me just to kind of maybe just rest a little bit and just have that time. So I just embrace it, and I love her, so I love spending time with her.
Who is the first to say, I'm sorry?
Probably you.
Me, yeah.
Probably you.
Sometimes I annoy myself with how much I say sorry for things.
Are there any pros and upsides to being in a relationship with chronic illness? Definitely, I think that weakness is good. I think that it keeps us in the Lord, it keeps us focused, even though her life and our life is hard, probably can be harder than other people's. It keeps our eyes focused on what truly matters, which is God. So, you know, even with it being negative, it is a blessing.
From my perspective as being the person that has the chronic illness, I think when I was first diagnosed and first was walking through my health issues, I definitely did see it as a curse. I saw it as something that it would negatively affect my relationship with anyone around me, my family, my friends, any like romantic relationship that I would ever enter, I didn't ever see it as being a pro. But going through the process of learning contentment and things, not only just with being single, but then learning to be content with the fact that I'm sick and walking through that and then getting into a relationship, I think that from the very beginning, even when Jesse and I were friends, it kind of led us to be much more honest with each other. There was things that I had to explain to him that I wanted him to know before he got into a relationship with me, and I didn't want him to be shocked. So it led us to have much deeper, much more sincere conversations with each other because we didn't want to waste each other's time, really. And that's kind of led into our marriage. We have very honest conversations with each other. We don't really keep secrets at all from each other. So I think that has actually been partially because of me being sick. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember us talking about health insurance before we even were engaged.
Yeah, we were already talking about the cost of living with someone that has chronic illness that can't work full time before we were even engaged or anything. I don't even know. I think we were dating at that point.
Yeah.
It led us to have those conversations very, very early on so that we were both prepared. Which of you is the most emotional? That's me.
Yeah, definitely.
I cry a lot. I get emotional when I watch TV shows that have something sad in them. Movies, cute dogs, cute children. I just tear up.
How have the two of you navigated the early conversations about planning for children in light of Dallas's chronic illness? Oh.
This is funny because this is actually what we were just talking about this before we started doing this video.
We were just talking about this. We understand that it could go either way, but we are extremely hopeful. And we are believing for, a miracle in that area as well. We believe that children are our future. So we're holding on to hope, and we're going to keep praying and seeking, and it's going to bring challenges. Even if it did happen, it would be different. I just know that God's going to find a way, and He's going to make a way for us. But yes, we've already discussed with each other prior to getting married that we knew that it was going to go either way with the children. So we have to be okay with that, and I am. Yeah,
we had a lot of conversations about that because we wanted to make sure we were both on the same page before we were getting married. I think that it's important for that person to know before you're engaged if they have the same goal in mind that you do. Both Jesse and I knew we wanted kids. Both of us love kids. I've always wanted to be a mom, so it was very natural that came up. Like I said before, Jesse and I have always been very honest with each other. I literally said it exactly like this. Would you still love me if I couldn't have kids? Like, would you still be with me if I couldn't have kids? And he was like, absolutely. We would find a way to fill our time and fill our life with something else. And we would still have kids that we would be influencing. Definitely important to have those conversations and just being honest and being willing to let that other person process things too. I had to be okay with it. It's hard for Jesse to have a conversation about that, or if it's difficult for him to talk about the possibility of not having kids, not to get frustrated with that person, because it is disappointing and it is sad sometimes to think about not having kids. So just being honest that it can be a sad subject. Which of you is a better cook? Jesse does not cook. I've only experienced his cooking one time. I had to intervene part of the way through the process because he was trying to make chicken Alfredo. It was great. It was my favorite chicken Alfredo I've ever had. Ever. I think I saved it from being completely dry.
It was a little rubbery. Jesse, what is it like to be in a relationship with someone who is chronically ill?
They want the real scoop on this.
I don't mind it at all. I mean,
he's never known me healthy, so it's like this is just normal me. Like there's really you don't have that comparison because you weren't in my life before I was sick, which is actually an advantage because there's really no disappointment for what you could have been missing.
I love being in a relationship with you, and like I said, I embrace your weaknesses as well. I love it. What is it like? It's like awesomeness. There you go.
Awesomeness.
There you go.
All right. I'm afraid that my future spouse will feel different about me when I'm in a flare. Jesse, when Dallas's symptoms are flaring and you're not able to be physically close with her, does it impact the way you feel about Dallas? Do you find her less attractive? Please be honest. You actually had that
on the
honeymoon.
The honeymoon,
He experienced that literally within the first 24 hours of us being married. Honestly, if we're getting real, to paint a picture, the first day after we were married, I was like keeled over a toilet, like gagging into the toilet. And he literally just was like, okay, rubbing my back, making sure I was okay, making sure I was eating and drinking. He kind of went into caregiver mode very naturally. The same way anyone else would that's taking care of someone they love.
It doesn't change her beauty at all. It doesn't change her beauty at all.
Do you find me less attractive when I'm in
Do
a
I
flare?
find you less attractive? No, because I know what you're going through. It's like just kind of like an outpouring of love.
Oh.
Yeah. Jesse, has Dallas's illness changed or challenged your faith or your view of God? I think when we first started dating, I was like really believing in God's healing, and I still believe in it. I guess my doctrinal beliefs were kind of more so like, if you don't have enough faith, then then you're not going to get healed. But I think that over time it's changed, and I've realized that it has to be God's will that you're healed, and that God doesn't just heal us physically but spiritually too, and God will use physical ailments to heal us spiritually. At one point we all decay and die. It's inevitable. I mean, it's kind of morbid.
It's morbid.
Very morbid, but I mean, it's the reality of life, and we don't live forever. We're not healthy forever. I think that my view has changed since meeting Dallas. I still believe that God can heal her and restore her, just like anybody else with chronic illness, if it's God's will. We're going to continue to believe and pray for her complete healing. I'm not going to stop praying for it. Dallas is not going to stop praying for her. Family's not going to stop praying for it. But we're going to keep pressing on. But God's will be done.
Do you have any pets? We have a dog.
Buster, come here, buddy.
He's probably sleeping right now. I don't know
You
where
want me
he
to get
is.
him? Oh.
Yeah, go get him.
He doesn't want to get up.
He's very lazy. So lazy. Hey, buddy. This is
Buster
our-
Bluey Bryce.
Yeah, he's triple B in his
Triple
house.
B.
What are your biggest pieces of advice for chronically ill folks who are currently engaged? From the woman's perspective and the one that is chronically ill, my biggest piece of advice, if I had to pick one, when you're going through the wedding planning phase, don't hold on to the details so tightly, especially when you're chronically ill. If you wear yourself out by trying to plan out every single thing, you're going to burn yourself out, and then you're not even going to be able to enjoy being engaged. What kind of food is everyone going to eat? What dresses are my bridesmaids wearing? All that's important, but it's really not about that at all. You can't do all the things. You can't control every situation. I honestly delegated a lot. People are willing to help you, so you don't have to do it all by yourself, and you don't have to stress about it. What's your biggest piece of advice?
Probably like letting go of some expectations. You can't get stuck in that picture perfect mindset of the world and the way that a relationship should be and a marriage should be and everything like that. Not lower your expectations, but let the expectations go. Your focus should be on the love that you have for her. A healthy man choosing a chronically ill partner it's kind of a sacrifice in a way. You have to know that, things might not be the same as if you had a wife that was healthy, didn't have illness. Letting go of the expectations and just trusting God. One
of the biggest things that I had to walk through is I had to process some of the grief of not being able to do things the same way as other people.
Yeah.
When you're little and you imagine getting married and you imagine walking down the aisle and you imagine your wedding day, you don't imagine yourself being sick and feeling symptoms. And just like your spouse, he didn't envision that also. So letting yourself process it and being honest and saying, this is hard. It's maybe not the way I thought it was going to be.
Like, I remember us coming up to the wedding day and you were starting to kind of go down a little bit. Your health was you were having a flare up, and at our wedding did they have a chair for you if you could sit, if you needed to sit down?
Yeah,
they were prepared for her to not be able to stand.
Because at the end of the day, what's most important is that you're married.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how the ceremony has to look. All of our family, all of our friends that were there, it was very intentional, and they all knew the situation. They were all ready. Also, Jesse was on standby. If I needed him, he was gonna come, regardless of if he saw me in the dress or before the wedding or whatever. Who made the first move and who went in for the first kiss? I know exactly what he's gonna do with this question, because he always throws this on me, and it's not true.
Dallas definitely kissed me first.
Here's the rundown. There was a certain situation. He was basically teasing me with a kiss. He was kissing everywhere on my face, but my mouth. I just went like that. Trying to
Totally
intercept, and he didn't kiss me back, and then he laughed at me.
So she kissed me first.
But then he did eventually kiss me, but he tricked me into it. So I will forever stand by that I did not go in for the first kiss because he was taunting me.
After we were engaged, though, right?
Yes, we did. Which
just to clarify,
not everyone does that, but
yeah,
we decided to do that.
Jesse, do you feel a sense of pressure or responsibility in stepping in as Dallas' caretaker, and where do you find support? I think that was always that little nagging worry, dating and engagement. Would I be able to handle it? This is a lot of responsibility. I mean, I had to really take that into consideration. But I trusted God. This was a God decision before it was a my decision. That's the key. There was pressure and there is responsibility, and there always is gonna be. I'm sure that through God's strength, I'll be able to take on any challenges that come. but I do have something great, which is a great support system. Her parents are great. They are very, very, very active in Dallas's life. They only live 15 minutes from here at this point. Without them, this would be a lot more difficult. I can tell you that right now. We always want to stay close, if we can, to the support system, because it's really important. And honestly, the transition from being a single person to this, I need that support, because it gives me kind of, I guess you would say, like additional training time to figure it out. So I'm grateful for it.
Prime example is today I had a doctor's appointment and my mom was available, and so she took me to it, where Jesse maybe would have if he was available.
Yep.
My parents also experienced 3 years of dealing with my chronic illness, just them. They're all very supportive. They help explain things to Jesse when maybe I'm not able to explain it to him from their perspective, what they can best do to support me. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you can't really explain, this is what I need.
I was on our honeymoon, she started having flare-ups, and Carrie, her mom, was the first person I called.
Yeah.
And she was able to walk me through some things. They're just great. I mean, I don't know what I would do without them, honestly. I literally have no idea.
And I think too, the fact that they trust you, and they have always trusted Jesse to take care of me, and so they instilled that trust in him, saying like, we trust you to take care of our daughter. That helps give you a little bit more confidence to make decisions.
That's important. So I mean, if you're someone that's considering marrying a chronically ill lady, make sure that you consider that you want to be near her support system. Really take that into consideration. Which of you is the better singer?
So Jesse actually sings. He loves music. He plays guitar, and he plays drums, and he sings at church. He's been singing since he was little. I'm not a good singer. So.
Yeah.
Did you two meet before or after Dallas' symptoms?
Yes.
Did you two meet before or after Dallas' symptoms and diagnosis?
After.
In dating, when and how should someone share about their illness? How much is too much to share? We were just friends when I started kind of talking to him about what I was experiencing. I got more in detail when we started dating, because it was more important for him to understand the actual details of it. I actually put together a little binder for him, because I'm a nerd, with all of my diagnoses in it, because there's a lot of them, and like the explanation for them. We had like a talk about what each of them were, my emergency protocols, how to stab me with an EpiPen if I'm having an allergic reaction. These are my medications. This is the dosage I take. I would say don't wait super long.
Yeah,
especially if you're dating someone.
Well, Dallas had her blog, and so I always knew that there was illness. That was actually kind of funny.
Are you
I'm gonna tell at first when I didn't know much about her illness, and I just like looked up something on Google. I don't know what it was. I looked up something I thought that she said that she had, or someone said that she had, and I looked up and it was like the life expectancy was like 2 years or 5 years, and I was like, I literally thought that she was gonna like die. The weirdest thing is that I knew that I was supposed to pursue her. Even knowing that, I kind of let that go too. And I said, you know what? If this is your will, God, let it be done. So I literally, the last piece of information I had about thinking about Dallas was that she was going to maybe pass away in like a couple of years. And I still decided to pursue her anyways.
Yeah.
And then I found out later that it wasn't anywhere near as bad. But that goes to show that it's not about what you see. It's about what God wants you to do.
I feel like whoever that person is, if they're worth your time, you'll know it. As soon as they know about your illness, you'll know if they're worth your time.
The right person won't care. That's the key.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have fears and insecurities about it, but the love they have for you will be greater.
I think the biggest fear that people that are chronically ill have is that you'll scare someone away.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell you that if you scare someone away, they needed to be scared away. They were not the right person for you. Allow that sifting process to happen. If someone comes along and you bring up something about your illness and they get uncomfortable and they run away, they're not going to stick with you in the long haul anyways. That right person will understand and will ask questions, and actually, you were kind of curious about some things, and sometimes you came to me and asked me things. So just somebody that's curious and wants to know. Which of you is more stubborn? We're both really stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn.
Might as well just take the L right up. Sooner the better.
Stop.
Now, there's always compromise in relationships. So whenever there's disagreement, there's usually a middle ground. Jesse, what is something you wish you could have known before dating someone with chronic illness? I guess one thing that was like a surprise to me was the importance of the routines and like the strict, you've got my alarm set on my phone, and you've got to develop the structure around the illness, and you can't just kind of on a whim do like road trips and stuff like that, because that can cause a flare up and stuff like that.
Which of you is a worse dancer?
Definitely me.
Yes. Okay. Do your dance. That's his dance. That is it. That's the extent of his dancing skills. We had a lot of dancing at our wedding. I did not realize the extent of how bad it was until we were already married.
Were you really watching me sitting there pointing at how bad I am at dancing?
I was dancing like right next to you all the time.
It's the first time I heard of this.
Alright. I actually love dancing, fun fact.
Yeah, she's a good dancer.
I love dancing.
How do you handle the financial strain of chronic illness as a newlywed couple? It's really important that the income is there and the health insurance is there and everything.
We were budgeting long before we were married because I only work part-time, and we always know that with chronic illness at any time, my health could take a turn and I could be out of work completely. We have a budget not just for medical expenses, but for everything that we do.
I definitely think that I don't know if we would have gotten married if I didn't have the job that I have now, because it's that important.
We wouldn't have been financially
it's
ready.
that important. Every big financial decision has to be weighed on that.
Yeah, because
right?
your health comes first. So that's always the forefront.
Right now, God's providing and He's made a way for us to navigate through this.
Communication too, like you said, before you're even married.
Yeah.
Talking about those things,
Upfront about all
being
that
realistic about if you have any debt from medical expenses, if you have any bills that you're still paying off, how much do your medications cost every month, what doctors do you see, do you see specialists that are maybe out of pocket or whatever. Just being honest about the cost of it.
Which of you is the messiest? I used to have a username at one point called Jesse Too Messy For You. That goes to show you that I'm the messier one.
I legitimately have OCD, and we have many moments where I don't understand why he does the things he does. I'm very square.
I'm the ball bouncing, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're the ball bouncing around outside of the box.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. Last one.
All right, last one. Here we go.
What are some of your best flare day date ideas? This is a good one. We do a lot of movie nights.
Yep.
That's our biggest one, and it sounds kind of lame. We have a lot of fun even when we're here because we're best friends. So it's like hanging out with your best friend all night. Whatever we're doing, we just try to have fun. That's it.
That's it.
We finished it. We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
There we go.
Good luck editing that. Hi, my name is Dallas. He's like, why are you bringing me to this? Hi, my name is Dallas, and this is my husband, Jesse. Okay, alright. Shut up! It's your facial expression.
I'm just sitting here. I'm not doing anything wrong.
That's the problem. You're just like...
Okay, what am I supposed to do?